In previous lecture, we discussed up to emulsifying agent in which HLB scale. We started this chapter in previous lecture in which we discussed definition of emulsion. Emulsion, it is a biphasic liquid dosage form, and in which two immiscible phases and make these two immiscible phases by miscible or soluble with each other by dispersion or by adding the emulsifying agent in it. So in which what is mean by emulsifying agent? Emulsifying agents are the substances they are added in the emulsion to become emulsion more stable. But their definition is these are the agents, they reduces interfacial tension in between these two phases. In between these two immiscible phases, that is oily phase and aqueous phase, and thus make these two phases miscible and make a stable emulsion is known as emulsifying agent. Also, the properties of emulsifying agents are these agents help to make the emulsion more stable, and when they are added in the emulsion, they prevent the coalescence of the globules of dispersed phase. Means there are globules that comes together and form a one mass. It is known as coalescences. So this is prevention of this coalescences formation in the emulsion is prevented by emulsifying agent. So these are the ideal properties of emulsion. Also, emulsifying agent. Emulsifying agent capable to reduce the interfacial tension in between the two immiscible phases. It should be compatible with the other ingredients used in the preparation of emulsion. It should be non-toxic. It should be capable to produce and maintain the required consistency of emulsion. Emulsion ची consistency आहे ती मेंटेन ठेवण्यासाठी इमल्सिफाइंग एजंट कॅपेबल असायला पाहिजे. इट शुड बी केमिकली स्टेबल. जे की इमल्सिफाइंग एजंट इमल्शन मध्ये ऍड करतोय they should be chemically stable in the nature. So these are the ideal properties of the emulsifying agent. We can decide this emulsifying agents used in these different types of emulsion, such as O by W, W by O, multiple emulsion, micro emulsion. For all these different types of emulsion using a different types of emulsifying agent or emulsor. So these are selected by using this HLB scale. HLB means hydrophilic lipophilic balance. This scale is discovered by a scientist is named as, or physician is named as graphene. So in which there is this hydrophilic HLB scale gives the measurement, or it is a ratio in between the hydrophilic portion and the lipophilic portion. Here, when the higher HLB value, then it gives higher hydrophilicity or hydrophilic nature. So hydrophilic means the molecule they are attracted towards the water, while lipophilic means the molecules they are attracted towards or dissolve in the lipid or the fat. So HLB scale, it is a ratio in between this hydrophilic and lipophilic portion, in which different emulsifying agent having the different emulsifying value, and this value is given by this HLB scale. Screen is visible to all.
Yes, ma'am.
Which if the range HLB value is 1 to 3, then these agents are anti-foaming agent. Anti-foaming agent means these are the agents they prevent the formation of foam in this emulsion. Then W by O emulsifying agent. HLB value will be 3 to 8. Wetting and spreading agent. Their HLB value is 7 to 9. Then O by W emulsifier or emulsifying agent, their HLB value is 8 to 16. Detergent HLB value 13 to 16. And last one solubilizer, that is surfactant. Their HLB value is 16 to 20. These HLB values are important as per objective question, and also there is short answer question on it. Write a note on HLB value. So you have to write this, draw this HLB scale and write about every agent, their value. So here different types of emulsifying agents in this chart, and also acacia, their HLB value 8, polysorbate 20, their HLB value is 16.7, polysorbate 60, their HLB value 14.9, polysorbate 80, their HLB value is 15, sodium oleate HLB value is 18, tragacanth HLB value 13, SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate, their HLB value is 40. So this HLB value of particular emulsifying agents are also asked for MCQ. So in which solubilizing agent means they helps to solubilize the drug or substance. O by W emulsifying agent. They are added to make the emulsion stable in O by W type of emulsion. W by O type of emulsifier. They are added in W by O type of emulsion to make the emulsion more stable and to reduce the interfacial tension in between the two immiscible phases. Antifoaming means they prevent the foam. Then solubilizers, they are also known as surfactant. The next one, detergent. Detergents, do you know detergent?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
The detergent, it is another type of surfactant. It is a mixture of surfactant and it is used for cleansing property in the dilute solution. Then next, wetting and speeding agent. Wetting means it provides wetting property. Speeding, माहिती आहे sir? Wetting, speeding माहिती आहे? Yes or no? Wetting agent, they are also called as surfactant, and they when these substances are added, they increases the spreading and penetrating properties of the liquid and lower the interfacial tension. म्हणजे वेटिंग आणि स्प्रेडिंग एजंट आहेत ते ज्यावेळेस ऍड केले जातात at that time they increases the spreading and reduces the interfacial surface tension. That's why they act as surfactant and added in the emulsion. So you have to write one by one the definition of this agent and their example. So example of detergent is polysorbate 60, their HLB value 14 point. Detergent HLB value किती आहे? Range त्याची as per the HLB
13 to
scale.
16.
13
13 to 16.
Their example is polysorbate 60. मग polysorbate 60 हे detergentचं example आहे आणि त्याची HLB value ही 14.9 असते. म्हणजे in between आहे का 30च्या आणि 60च्या?
Yes, ma'am.
Then emulsifying agent which is added in O by W type of emulsion is acacia. What is range of O by W type of emulsifying agent?
8 to 16.
8 to 16.
8 to 16. Then HLB value for O by W type of emulsion is 8 to 16. मग acacia त्याचे example आहे त्या emulsifying agent. So HLB value of acacia is 8. आहे का in between?
Yes, ma'am.
In between means starting 8 to 16. Then next W by O type of emulsifying agent. Their example is glycerol monosterate. किती आहे? HLB value W by O.
3 to 8.
3 to 8.
Then glycerol monosterate ची HLB value 3.8 आहे का in between?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
have to write same their definition and their examples. This is about HLB scale. It is important one. When HLB value is increases, then it leads to hydrophilic or lipophilic.
Hydrophilic.
Hydrophilic.
And if there is lower HLB value, then it indicates which property?
Lipophilic.
Lipophilic.
Okay, this is about HLB value. So question is asked on this point. Define emulsifying agent, write down its properties with their example and explain HLB scale. So you have to write all these points. Okay? समजले का?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Then let us discuss the next point, method of preparation of emulsion, in which wet gum method, dry gum method, and bottle method. The first two methods you are discussed or prepared emulsion by using this first two method in pharmaceutics practical, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So in the wet gum method, firstly, can anyone tell in short about wet gum method, dry gum method? ऑफलाईन ज्यांनी केलेले परफॉर्म सांगतात ते yes or no? Sound is audible to all?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's
Yes,
see
ma'am.
the preparations of emulsion. The following methods are commonly used for the preparation of emulsion, in which dry gum method, wet gum method, bottle method, and other methods. So in the dry gum method, okay, let's see firstly wet gum method. So in this method, proportion of oil water gum. At least हे तरी झालं का oil water gum चं proportion कसं असतं? माहिती आहे का proportion?
4:1:1:1.
Repeat again. 4:2.
2:1.
It is for castor oil. Fixed oil साठी असतं हे. Castor oil, almond oil, arachius oil, and cod liver oil. And if there is volatile oil, then proportion ratio काय आहे oil water गमच्या?
2:2:1.
In your notebook. Notebook मध्ये write down करा. Type of oil. When the type of oil is fixed oil, then ratio of oil, water, and gum is 4:2:1. If the type of oil is volatile oil, then their ratio will be 2:2:1. That is oil 2, water साठी 2 again आणि gum 1. Then mineral oils. Mineral oil साठी किती ratio?
3:2:1.
3:2:1. So examples of fixed oil are castor oil, almond oil, arachius oil, cod liver oil. And examples of mineral oil, their example is liquid paraffin. Examples of volatile oil, their example turpentine oil, peppermint oil, and cinnamon oil. So these are the examples. This chart is important one. Ratio of arachius oil. This one remaining cinnamon oil, peppermint oil. This ratio, oil, water, gum ratio is asked for objective question. So remember this. I repeat again, fixed oil, the ratio for oil, water, and gum 4:2:1. If volatile oil, then the ratio 2:2:1. If mineral oil, then the ratio of oil, water, and gum is 3:2:1. Then let's see the first method of preparation, in which wet gum method. So in this method, calculate the quantity of oil, water,
तुम्हाला पाहुण्यात
and
बांधते का त्यांच्यात ते काय राहणार आहे जात असं घेऊ चांगला लागा खायला का येड्यासारखं वागतं इथे जिंदगी येड्यासारखी झाली काय सांगायला लागलं चप्पल 250 रुपये देऊन काल आणली तू म्हणतो चांगली नाही काय आणली इज्जत काढ 250 रुपये दुसरी आली असती चप्पल 200 रुपये 100 रुपये घ्या पाहिजे चप्पल
screen is visible to all.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So in the wet gum method, there is proportion of oil, water, gum. It's selected by which oil is to be used. So calculate firstly quantity of oil, water, and gum which is required for preparation of primary emulsion. Then म्हणजे फर्स्टली काय करायचंय जे ऑइल वॉटर आणि गम आहे ते कॅल्क्युलेट करायचं किती क्वांटिटी मध्ये लागणार आहे ते. देन powder the gum acacia in powder of the gum acacia in the mortar. आपण वेट गम मेथडनी बघतोय, म्हणजे पावडर आहे गम अकॅशियाची ती मॉर्टर मध्ये ठेवायची. मोर्टर पेस्टल माहितीये?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Firstly, place this or powder of the gum acacia in the mortar. Then add water and triturate it with the gum so to it gives a mucilage. मग ते पावडर मोर्टर मध्ये टाकल्यानंतर विथ द हेल्प ऑफ पेस्टल काय करायचंय, वॉटर ऍड ट्रायच्युरेट करायचं पेस्टलच्या हेल्पनी बाय ऍडिशन ऑफ वॉटर ड्रॉप्स. केलेलं आहे का हे?
हो मॅम केलंय.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so add the required weight gum है, that's why there is first the addition of water. मग ते triturate gum with the water in the mortar to form a mucilage. मग एक mucilage form होतो. Then oil slowly add करायचं त्या triturate केलेल्या mixture मध्ये. After adding the oil, it makes or it form a primary emulsion. So powder is given in the mortar, then with the help of pestle it is triturate it by addition of water. So when it is triturated, then it gives, this gum gives a mucilage, it forms a mucilage. Then add the required quantity of oil in the small portion by slowly with the continuous trituration. Then it gives a clicking sound. Then clicking sound is produced in this emulsion and which is becomes white or nearly white, म्हणजे त्याचा कलर चेंज होतो. At this stage emulsion is known as primary emulsion. Then after that add the more water in the small portion to the primary emulsion and triturate to produce the required volume and stir it to form a uniform emulsion and transfer it into the bottle. Cork it and then label and dispense. Cork म्हणजे त्याचं seal close करायचंय. So this is about wet gum method, preparation of emulsion by wet gum method. समजली मेथड?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
काय करायचं,
Fine.
फर्स्टली गम, वॉटर आणि ऑइल किती लागणार आहेत ते कॅल्क्युलेट करायचे. आफ्टर दॅट त्याच्यामधली जी गमची पावडर आहे इट इज प्लेस्ड इन टू द मॉर्टर, देन इट इज ट्रायच्युरेट विथ द हेल्प ऑफ पेस्टल बाय ऍडिशन ऑफ वॉटर. वॉटर काय ऍड केलंय? बिकॉज इट इज विच मेथड?
Wait, go.
Weight gum method.
मग वॉटर ऍड केल्यानंतर विथ द कंटिन्युअसली स्टरिंग काय होणार आहे? म्युसिलेज फॉर्म होणार आहे त्या गमचा. देन आफ्टर दॅट रिक्वायर्ड क्वांटिटी मध्ये ऑइल स्लोली ऍड करायचंय स्मॉल पोर्शन मध्ये विथ कंटिन्युअस ट्रायच्युरेटिंग. ट्रायच्युरेट करायचं स्टॉप केलेलं
No.
continuous triturate, then after that it produces a clicking sound, and at this certain stage this emulsion or this preparation is become white to nearly white. At this stage is known as primary emulsion. Then at the end add more water, आणखीन water add करायचं 30 ml बनवायचं आहे. if our preparation is 20 ml, then हे oil add केल्यानंतर properly mixing झाल्यानंतर at the end final volume adjust करण्यासाठी आणखी water त्याच्यामध्ये with continuous trituration add करायचं and at the last transfer this emulsion into the bottle, then cork it, label it and dispense. This is about wet gum method. Castor oil चं emulsion prepare केलेलं का तुम्ही?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Cod
Yes,
liver
ma'am.
oil.
Cod liver.
Castor oil.
By castor oil or cod liver oil?
Cod liver oil.
फक्त cod liver
By
oil.
which method? By which method?
Wet gum method and dry gum method.
दोन्ही मेथडनी केलेलं.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Then which is better for this cod liver
Dry.
oil emulsion?
Dry method.
Okay. So you have to write same example. ते जे example आहे the same example after this explanation write down करायचं आहे. When question is asked on this point, define emulsion and write the methods of preparation of emulsion. Then you have to define emulsion. After that, enlist this method and explain one by one. So firstly, wet gum method, you have to write this explanation, and after that, write down the same example which you are prepared in your practical. एक्झाम्पल मध्ये काय राईट डाऊन करणार आहे तुम्ही? इफ कॅस्टर ऑइल किंवा जे काही तुम्ही कॉड लिव्हर ऑइल यूज केले ते देअर क्वांटिटी, त्याची क्वांटिटी, इफ कॅस्टर ऑइल 8 ml, वॉटर 30 ml, मेक ए इमल्शन. देन हाऊ टू मेक इट, तर ते तुम्हाला त्याच्यामध्ये राईट डाऊन करायचं आहे बाय देअर कॅल्क्युलेटिंग क्वांटिटी. मग नेक्स्ट न्यू एक्झाम्पल घेण्यापेक्षा जे तुम्ही प्रॅक्टिकल मध्ये करताय ते सेम एक्झाम्पल याच्यामध्ये राईट डाऊन करा. समजलंय?
येस मॅम.
Yes, ma'am.
आणि जरी न्यू एक्झाम्पल केलं तर त्या क्वांटिटी ऍज तुम्हाला राईट डाऊन कराव्या लागतील. सो इट इज बेटर फॉर यू टू राईट डाऊन द सेम एक्झाम्पल फ्रॉम द practical. The next method of preparation is dry gum method. So in this method, measure the required quantity of oil in the dry measures and transfer it into the dry mortar. So firstly काय करायचंय, जे ऑइल आहे ते मेजर करायचं आणि ते मॉर्टर मध्ये घ्यायचंय. सेम असंच केलेलं का?
येस मॅम. येस मॅम.
Measure the required quantity of oil in the dry measure and transfer it into the dry mortar and add the calculated gum acacia into this oil and then triturate it. म्हणजे याच्यामध्ये काय केलं आपण, फर्स्टली ऑइल घेतलेलं आहे, आफ्टर दॅट काय ऍड करणार आहे, emulsifying agent, that is gum acacia, and then triturate it. वेट गम मध्ये काय घेतलेलं, फर्स्टली वेट गम मध्ये
गम
ऑइल घेतलेलं की
गम अँड वॉटर. गम अँड वॉटर.
after that add केलेलं. So here in dry gum method, firstly take the oil in mortar and then add the acacia, then to form a triturate it to form a uniform mixture and then add the water. मग नंतर water add करायचं at the end. Triturate it immediately and continuously. हे continuously triturate करायचं up to the clicking sound is produced and the solution becomes white cream. एक white cream किंवा near to white color येते. This is known as primary emulsion. And then at the end add the remaining quantity of water to adjust the final volume. किती ml चे emulsion prepare केलेलं?
30.
30 ml.
ओके. So ती व्हॉल्यूम ऍडजस्ट करण्यासाठी ऍज अ व्हेइकल म्हणून काय ऍड करतो आपण, वॉटर. सो वॉटर व्हॉल्यूम ऍडजस्ट करण्यासाठी ऍड करायचंय. सो इट इज अगेन सिंपल मेथड. फर्स्टली इमल्सिफाइंग एजंट, इमल्सिफायर अँड ऑइल. इमल्सिफायर मीन्स इमल्सिफाइंग एजंट अँड ऑइल. हे दोन्ही ट्रायच्युरेट करायचे मोटर मध्ये. आफ्टर दॅट ऍड द वॉटर and then continuously triturate it and it gives clicking sound and it gives white cream to nearly white cream. This is known as primary emulsion and the remaining quantity of this emulsion is adjusted by addition of water in it. This is about dry gum method. So their example for dry gum method, क्वांटिटी सेम होती का, त्याच्यासाठी तेवढे एकच इमल्शन प्रिपेअर केले तुम्ही कॉड लिव्हर ऑइलचं. अदर एक्झाम्पल्स आहेत का? किती इमल्शन्स प्रिपेअर केले?
कॉड लिव्हर ऑइल एकच.
आणखी घेतलेत का मॅडमनी?
मॅडम घेतलेत पण प्रॅक्टिकल केलेलं आहे. घेतलेत मॅडम कॅस्टर ऑइलचं.
Okay. So castor oil again it is fixed oil. मॅडमनी जे एक्झाम्पल घेतलेलं आहे सेम ड्रॅगन मेथडनी जे तुम्ही प्रिपेअर करताय, म्हणजे त्यांनी सांग कॉड लिव्हर ऑइल असेल. कॉड लिव्हर ऑइलचं झालंय ना?
येस मॅम. येस मॅम.
ओके, तर ते एक्झाम्पल याच्यामध्ये राईट डाऊन करा. समजते की रिपीट करू देतो एक्झाम्पल मध्ये काय प्रॅक्टिकली तुम्ही जे केलंय ते here we prepare and dispense the following emulsion. Then you have to write cod liver oil असेल तर cod liver oil, then acacia powder and cinnamon water. त्याची क्वांटिटी किती आहे ती राईट डाऊन करायची जी तुम्ही प्रॅक्टिकल मध्ये केली. आणि देन प्रोसिजर म्हणायचं किंवा प्रिपरेशन आणि त्याच्यामध्ये फर्स्टली तुम्ही काय ऍड केलं ती प्रोसिजर इन शॉर्ट मध्ये राईट डाऊन करायची. ओके. समजलेत एक्झाम्पल्स?
Yes, ma'am.
The next method is bottle method, which is used for preparation of emulsion. It is also known as Forbes bottle method. So in which bottle method it is used for preparation of emulsion of volatile oils and non-viscous oils. Which method is used for preparation of non-viscous oil?
Bottle.
Which method?
Bottle
Method.
method.
Okay, so in this method, their proportion of oil, water, and gum is 2:1, in which measure the quantity of oil and it is transferred into the large bottle. Then add the required quantity of powdered gum. Means this is first oil and gum. They are added in bottle. Bottle मध्ये oil आणि gum measure करायचे आणि ते add करायचे. Then shake the bottle vigorously. Continuously shaking करायचं त्या बॉटलचं until the oil and gum is mixed thoroughly. ते oil आणि gum mix व्हावेत ह्यावेळी constantly or vigorously shaking करायचे. Then add the calculated amount of water at the all at the once. Volume equal जे आहे volume is equal to oil and at the end volume adjust करण्यासाठी water add केलं जातं. So add the water in this bottle and again shaking it and to form a primary emulsion. And at the end add more amount of water in small proportion with the constant shaking or agitation and adjust the required volume. This is also simple method in which firstly gum and oil added into the bottle, dry bottle, then shaking it. After that add the water, then again vigorously shaking is done and it gives a primary emulsion. And at the end adjust the final volume. Then prepared emulsion is cork it, then firstly fill into the container, cork it and then labeled and dispensed. समजलेत method of preparation? Method of preparation of emulsions 3 methods आहेत, wet gum, dry gum. समजलेत?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Screen is visible to all.
Yes, ma'am.
Bottle method ही simple आहे and first two dry gum and wet gum they are opposite. How many methods used for preparation of emulsion?
3 methods.
Three
methods.
Three methods.
Which?
Wet gum
gum
method, dry
method,
gum
dry
method,
gum method, and bottle
method.
method.
Then next point. The next point is emulsion instability, in which the instability of pharmaceutical emulsion, it may be classified as emulsion access stable का राहत नाही. What are the reasons of instability, or how the, because of flocculation creaming, means why emulsion is not stable. So there are reasons, and also emulsion instability. It is occur due to which factor? This point we have to study in the emulsion instability. Screen is visible to all.
Yes, ma'am.
So first one, flocculation and creaming. Then second, coalescences and breaking, phase inversion, and physical and chemical change. So because of these changes occur during the storage, म्हणजे stability of emulsion वर हे factors affect करतात. If in their storage condition is properly not maintained, then these defects are occurred, such as flocculation of emulsion or creaming of emulsion, coalescences in the emulsion, then phase inversion. Phase inversion माहिती आहे? Separate out the two phases. Here. This is phase inversion. If there is stability of the emulsion, stability किंवा storage condition ज्या आहेत त्या maintain नाहीत केल्या, then it leads to emulsion is unstable, and because of this not properly managed of the storage condition, it leads to instability of the emulsion. So first one is flocculation. So these are the emulsion stability. The following three changes usually occurs during the storage of emulsion. And emulsion, it is unstable. If it remains as such after the preparation, then dispersed globules are uniformly distributed throughout the dispersion medium during the storage, and the emulsion should be chemically stable, and there should be not any bacterial growth is occur. And the three changes usually occur during the storage, such as cracking of emulsion. जर का त्याचे storage condition properly maintain नाही केलं, then cracking, creaming, flocculation, sedimentation, coalescences हे occur होतं. Coalescences means large globules comes together and form a mass. Image दिसतीये?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Two phase चे globules आहेत, they comes together and form a mass like this. हे असं emulsion मध्ये होतं. This is known as coalescences. Then flocculation. By this way flocculation होतं. Emulsion मध्ये particles असे असतात, two phase, and then if storage condition is not maintained, then it leads to creaming. Creaming झाले म्हणजे काय होतं? ते particles काय झालेलं दिसतं याच्यामध्ये?
Upper side ला गेलेलं दिसतं.
Particles are comes together, creaming. Then flocculation. This is flocculation. Coalescences. One mass is formed, and then this is sedimentation. Sedimentation means at the bottom ला ते collect होतात. In which first one is flocculation. The small spears of the oil join together and to form a clumps or flakes, which rises settle in the emulsion more rapidly than individual particle. म्हणजे small sphere मध्ये जे globules आहेत ते flocculation मध्ये काय होतंय? They comes together. इथे दिसतात का double?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
This is normal emulsion, and it is flocculated emulsion. Means it is prepared emulsion. After that, if there is storage condition are not properly maintained, then it leads to flocculation. So flocculation, in which there is oil or globules are come together and to form a clumps or flakes. These are the clumps or flakes. And then याचं weight जास्त असणार आहे when they comes together. जे globules आपण previous chapters मध्ये बघितलं, unit operation. If the density of this particle is high, and low. So like this, जर याचं weight increase झालं तर ते वरती flow होतील का bottom ला settle down होतील?
बॉटमला
Bottom.
So because of flocculation is when occur in the emulsion, these clumps or flocks, they are settled down in the emulsion. So this is about flocculation. Do you understand flocculation?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Then creaming. Creaming, it may be defined as upward movement of dispersed globules to form a thick layer at the surface of emulsion. Cream, माहिती आहे creams use केल्या असतील. So like that, हे असं formation होतं emulsion मध्ये. When stability of emulsion is not maintained, then it leads to creaming. It is the concentration of floccules in the internal phase and form a upward or downward layer according to the density of internal phase. म्हणजे त्याच्या internal phase ची जी density आहे त्यानुसार क्रीमचा जसा layer असतो, like this layer formation is occur in the emulsion. म्हणजे ह्या emulsion मध्ये हे जसा layer form झालाय separate out दिसतात, like this एक layer upward movement ला creamy layer form होतो emulsion मध्ये. This is known as creaming. So creaming, it is defined as there is formation of a thick layer into the upward movement. आणि तो thick layer कशाचा आहे? जे dispersed globules आहेत, हे globules, त्या globules चा एक layer form होतो. समजते creaming? हे जे पार्टिकल्स इमल्शन मध्ये असे असणार आहेत त्यांचा एक थिक लेयर फॉर्म होतो इमल्शन मध्ये, दॅट इज क्रीमिंग. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू द स्ट्रोक्स लॉ, रेट ऑफ क्रीमिंग इट इज डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द नंबर्स ऑफ फॅक्टर. म्हणजे जी क्रीम फॉर्म होणार आहे त्याचा रेट हे डिपेंडिंग अपॉन नंबर्स ऑफ फॅक्टर वरती ते डिपेंड आहे बाय स्ट्रोक्स लॉ. Stokes law, it is given idea for the rate of creaming. It is depending upon the numbers of factor which can be explained by using the equation. In the equation is V is equal to 2R square D1 minus D2 G divided by G nu. That is viscosity. So the equation मध्ये जे आहे dx by dt is equal to rate of setting, म्हणजे किती particles settle down होतात. D is the diameter of particle. P is the density of internal phase and external phase. G be the gravitational constant. And this N be the viscosity medium. Means filtration मध्ये त्याच्या theory मध्ये आपण एक equation बघितलेलं, and that equation gives idea about factors affecting on filtration. किती equations study केलेले filtration मध्ये? Sound is audible to all?
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
3 equations study केलेले. Do you remember?
येस मॅम.
Okay, so there are 3 equations मध्ये एक equation होतं which gives idea about factors affecting on filtration. So like that same emulsion ची stability maintain नसेल, if emulsion is unstable, then creaming is occur, or creaming it leads to emulsion is unstable. Instability of emulsion त्याचं reason आहे creaming. So creaming हे different factors वरती depend आहे. So त्याचे factors जे आहेत ते rate of creaming, किती rate ने creaming होतंय, त्याच्यामध्ये असलेले जे globules आहेत, these globules, हे जे globules आहेत, ह्या globules ची radius किती आहे, density dispersed phase density किती आहे, continuous phase water आहे तर त्या water ची density किती आहे, gravitational constant किती आहे, त्याच्यामध्ये main गोष्ट viscosity किती आहे. Main thing of this creaming is viscosity. If it is more viscous, then it is easily leads to creaming. म्हणजे easily एक thick layer upward movement मध्ये form होतो. So this is about creaming. जर का globule ची size जास्त असेल, then it leads to increase the rate of creaming. Then if velocity is increased, then it leads to decrease the rate of creaming. There is inverse proportion in between the velocity and direct proportion in between the globule size and rate of creaming. So when increase the size of globule, then it leads to increase the rate of creaming, and when the velocity is increased, then rate of creaming is decreases. The next point, phase inversion. Phase inversion means separate out the two phases. Phase inversion, O by W type of emulsion is changes into W by O. O by W type चे जे emulsion आहे ते W by O type मध्ये change होतं. It is physical instability. हे काय physical instability आहे. Phase inversion means there is inversion or change in between the phase of the emulsion. Sound is audible to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Phase inversion म्हणजे काय होतंय? फेज इन्व्हर्जन म्हणजे काय होतंय त्याच्यामध्ये?
चेंज ऑफ फेज ऑफ इमल्शन.
म्हणजे जर का ते इमल्शन O by W टाइपचं असेल तर ते डायरेक्टली चेंज इनटू द W by O. ऍज सच आपण स्टोरेजला ठेवलं. इफ देयर इज स्टोरेज इज नॉट प्रॉपरली मेंटेन अँड इन्स्टॅबिलिटी जे आहे स्टेबल ऍज सच का राहत नाही बिकॉज ऑफ दिस फेज इन्व्हर्जन. O by W चं डायरेक्टली चेंज W by O मध्ये होतं. इफ इमल्शन इज W by O then changes into the O by W. मग असं चेंज होत असेल then हे आपण how to it prevent? It may be brought about by. म्हणजे हे W by O, O by W मध्ये कन्वर्जन होणं हे फेज इन्व्हर्जन आपण प्रिव्हेंट करू शकतो. but before that why it is happen? फेज इन्व्हर्जन का होतं? So it may be due to the following reason in which by changing emulsifying agent. जर emulsifying agent change केला at that time it leads to change the phase, that is O by W to W by O. If change the temperature, जर temperature मध्ये change असेल storage condition maintain करताना, then this emulsion leads to phase inversion. If there is addition of electrolyte, एखाद्या electrolyte ची आपण addition केली त्या emulsion मध्ये, like addition of calcium chloride into O by W, it is from the sodium stearate and which can be inverted to W by O. म्हणजे आपण calcium chloride O by W type च्या emulsion मध्ये add केले. By sodium stearate it can be inverted into कशामध्ये होते ते नंतर O by W चं invert means change. It changes into W by O. So in generally, and also one of the important factor for this phase inversion is it is occur due to phase volume ratio. म्हणजे जो रेशो आपण गम, वॉटर आणि ऑइल जो रेशो आहे 4:2:1, 2:2:1, तो रेशो as such नसेल then it leads to phase inversion. So phase inversion it is change of phases or change phase from O by W to W by O, vice versa, and this occur due to the reasons if by the change in the temperature, change in the emulsifying agent, if addition of electrolyte, and if there is change in the phase volume ratio, it leads to phase inversion. समजले phase inversion म्हणजे काय and why it is occurred?
Yes, ma'am.
Then phase inversion can be minimized by. मग आपण हे कमी करू शकतो. How it is minimized? So using the proper emulsified agent. Proper emulsifying agent use करून आपण हे phase inversion stop करू शकतो. Also keeping the concentration of dispersed phase in between the 30 to 60. त्या emulsion मध्ये जे dispersed phase आहे त्याचं concentration आपण 30 to 60% मध्ये मेंटेन करायचे. बाय दिस वे फेज इन्व्हर्जन कॅन बी मिनिमाइज. ऑल्सो स्टोअर द इमल्शन इन कूल प्लेस. कूल प्लेस मध्ये जर इमल्शन स्टोअर केलं तर फेज इन्व्हर्जन साठी ते susceptible nahi. So phase inversion is minimized by this way. By adding proper emulsion, keeping or storing emulsion in the cool place, and keep the concentration of dispersed phase in 30 to 60%. Then last point, then last, cracking of emulsion. When emulsion cracks during the preparation, that is primary emulsion does not become white but acquires an oily translucent appearance. म्हणजे जर का प्रायमरी इमल्शन जे आहे ते ॲक्युरेटली प्रिपेअर्ड नाही केलं, देन इट लीड्स टू क्रॅकिंग ऑफ इमल्शन. क्रॅक झालेलं का तुम्ही इमल्शन प्रिपेअर करताना?
Yes, ma'am.
ज्यांनी प्रिपेअर क्रॅकिंग ऑफ इमल्शन, जर का
Yes, ma'am.
प्रायमरी इमल्शन जे आहे ते प्रायमरी इमल्शन प्रॉपरली प्रिपेअर नाही झालं, देन ऍट दॅट टाइम इट लीड्स टू क्रॅकिंग. प्रायमरी इमल्शन काय आहे ते आपण वेट गम मेथड आणि ड्राय गम मेथड मध्ये बघितलंय. फर्स्टली ऑइल, देन अकेशिया, देन ऍड द वॉटर. इट गिव्स प्रायमरी इमल्शन बाय प्रॉपर ट्रायच्युरेशन. जर ते प्रॉपरली नाही झालं, देन इट लीड्स टू cracking of emulsion. In such a cases, it is impossible to dilute the emulsion nucleus with the water and oil is separate out. म्हणजे डायल्युशन जे आहे इमल्शनचं ते वॉटर बरोबर होत नाही. इट इज इम्पॉसिबल आणि त्याच्यामुळे ऑइल सेपरेट आउट होतं. म्हणजे क्रॅकिंग कशामुळे होणार आहे? इफ देर इज प्रायमरी इमल्शन इज नॉट फॉर्म प्रॉपरली, then it leads to cracking of emulsion. म्हणते it occur because of म्हणते cracking झाल्यामुळे it leads to cracking. It is occur due to the different reasons. By addition of emulsifying agent किंवा coalescences फॉर्म झाल्यामुळे, टेम्परेचर चेंज होतं त्याच्यामुळे, क्रीमिंग फॉर्म झाल्यामुळे cracking of emulsion occur होतं. So this is about stability of emulsion. This is about stability of emulsion. If proper storage condition are not maintained, of emulsion not maintained, then it leads to coalescences, flocculation, sedimentation, and creaming. Then remaining last point in this emulsion chapter is identification test for emulsion. We will discuss in the next lecture. Up to this, any